Welcome to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprofit.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Profit Podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and today we're doing our Week 5 Mailbag show, which we do every Thursday. We got some good questions from you guys today, some trade questions. So we're going to jump right into this thing. And actually, a couple drop questions. Should we drop certain players kind of a thing? So Elvis asked, I'll start with that one. Elvis asked, should I drop Hayden Hurst? Would you be okay with Hayden Hurst being dropped to the waiver wire? And I'll say, yes, of course I would. I'm fine with it. I actually just did it last week. So, I mean, I also don't mind putting him in my lineup if you need a tight end, but I'm also fine with dropping him. So I think you're on board with that.
Yeah, it all depends on who else you can get.
I got a couple other ones, though, that I'm curious what you think. Would you be okay with dropping A.J. Green right now? T.Y. Hilton. I'll say T.Y. Hilton. I think you're going to say yes to more likely.
I would be okay with dropping both of them.
Those guys, I think they're similar. It's a similar type player.
Yes. I do think that they still have life in them. I think that they're a player that if you can keep them on your bench just to find out in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Because I do think that they have the ability to bring it back. But, hey, they haven't performed. It doesn't look too good for them. If you need that spot for someone else, and, I'm okay with it.
It's rough to try to have to do that, like when the guys you thought might do something. But, I mean, I think we had more hope for AJ than we did T.Y. Hilton. We're just never been the biggest T.Y. guy. And I think T.Y. just...
I mean, I have nothing against T.Y. It was mostly this year.
Yeah, it's like what... And he hasn't... Just nothing's happening.
No, it kind of turned out the way we had thought it would be with Rivers coming in.
Yep. All right, well, let me throw out some trade questions for you. Let's see what we think about this. Jack Maurer asked, is George Kittle for Cam Newton, Robert Woods, and Hayden Hurst a fair trade? I think it's a fair trade. I'd like to see some rosters to decide if I think that's the team that's trading Kittle should even think about that, but it's a perfectly fine deal. Woods is a solid player, but you're getting three other guys that are okay for a great player, which I don't love doing. So I think even that, I'd still rather have the Kittle side, obviously, unless you really need position, you really need players to fill in, which I don't think those are the ones to do it. Cam, if he plays next week, we'll see if he comes. I mean, at this point, does he come back? I don't know how the whole COVID thing works. If you're tested positive, how can you come back for the next game? I thought you're supposed to be gone for 14 days, but who knows how that's going to play out. I'm going to keep Kittle. I'll say it is a fair trade, but I want Kittle.
Correct.
Right. I mean, that's just, I think, I don't like, I think that's a good way though to get better players, is do like 2 or 3 for 1 deals. But I just get the guy who needs a lot of players. Jeff, do you need a lot of players in your team? I'll trade you some.
I do. I don't know if I think I might be past saving on that one though.
Actually, you know what? Never mind. You have nobody to offer.
Hurtful.
I don't want Frank Gore.
No one. I don't want Frank Gore, but I need him.
I mean, the only player you have to offer is Christian McCaffrey, and he's not even playing. So you have Lamar, I guess.
I got to wait until injuries kind of clear up, but we'll find out.
It's rough, Jeff.
Yeah, I'm living that IR life right now.
Yeah, it's rough. All right, Trent asks, should I trade Tyler Lockett for Todd Gurley or Melvin Gordon? So Lockett for one of those two guys, Gurley or Gordon. And again, it depends on what you need for sure, but I'm okay with the logic of trading Lockett for one of those, but I don't even know if I'd like to do that. Gurley, I mean, he did get 2 touchdowns. Gordon had a good game.
I was going to say, at this point,
which one would you rather have?
Look, I actually believe in both of them at this point. I actually kind of believe in Melvin Gordon a little more. I think he's a little safer. I think they need him a little more on that team with obviously injuries and what has happened. When Philip Lindsay comes back, or, however that shakes out, it is a little bit of a worry. But the way that Atlanta has been playing, I obviously still like Gurley because he's been able to get those touchdowns. But if that does go away, if they aren't as prolific of moving the ball, I think that worries me just a little more because he's not involved in the passing game pretty much at all. So I think Melvin Gordon is the player that team needs. And we saw it too. He did have one bad game against Tampa Bay, but other than that, they're giving the ball to him a lot, and he's running really, really well with it. And last game, he scored 2 touchdowns. It was against the Jets, but hey, Tennessee and Pittsburgh, the two teams that he started off with, he was in double digits as far as fantasy attempts, 15, 19. Tampa Bay was 8 and then 23. I just like his usage. I don't think that he's going to be some league winner the way that they use him or the way he's playing, but I think he's going to be very, very consistent, very solid, and I'm guessing that's what you need right now if you're looking to trade Lockett.
Yeah. You must need to make the move. All right, Future asked, so he has a couple options here. He says, would you trade either? It's going to be a running back and a receiver, so he has to figure out which ones. So would you trade either? It's Antonio Gibson, Mostert, could be one of those two, and Marquise Brown / John Brown, one of those two, for Stephon Diggs. So I think there's a combination there that gets me that deal. That I would definitely do. I mean, to me, okay, let's look at it first. Wide receiver, running back wise, Gibson, Mostert. It's tough because Mostert's hurt and he has a lot of guys around him. I think I'd rather have the Gibson side, honestly, just because of the uncertainty with the injury. And if you asked me this question a couple weeks ago, I'd say I'd want Mostert. But I think I'd try to trade Mostert away then in this deal.
I agree with you.
But then which receiver? I think John Brown, I think I'd rather trade than Marquise Brown. It's not like that far off, to be honest.
No, it's not. But if you're going to get Diggs, I think I'd rather have the not on his team.
Exactly.
Right? So I'd rather have the Marquise Brown just in case whatever happens.
I would do Mostert, John Brown to get Diggs. I
would do that.
And you're also talking to a podcast that loves Diggs and did. At least I love Diggs. And, I like that deal. I think I'd be okay with that. All right, some other questions here. All right, Brother Coffee Bean EVB asks, should I keep? He was already. We already asked this. Should I keep or trade? Should I keep, trade, or cut AJ Green? So, you know what? Trade him if you can.
Yeah, I'll say trade him if you can. Keep him if you don't have to move anyone on your bench. Cut him if you need to.
Yep. It says, so how should I replace OJ Howard? So he has OJ Howard, I guess, was tight end. So like we talked about last episode, Robert Tanyan, go after him even though he's not playing this week. Dalton Schultz, if he's out there, that's good play for this week. I'd get Dalton Schultz if he's out there for you. Hopefully those guys are there. I'd really try for that. And then after that, try to find out who else is around. But I'd go for Schultz for this week for sure. And let's see here. Waiver options. Okay, so another thing, if you were to, get rid of AJ Green, some waiver options are Russell Gage, Traquan Smith, Tim Patrick, McCole Hardman, Scotty Miller. So I think I'd want Green over those guys just because I think there's still something there. Might be something there. And I'm not really a big Russell Gage guy. Traquan is fine, but Michael Thomas is coming back. Tim Patrick had, we talked about, he looked good, but I'm still not ready to say I'd rather have Tim Patrick on my team than AJ Green. I'm not there yet. Same thing with Scotty Miller. McCole Hardman is interesting. He always is, but I'm not there. You know what? I can't. I'm not there yet. I still want to see what Green can do.
I agree.
Yeah, it's just I have to. You have to see that. And then, and then so the tight ends he could pick up as well. Robert Tanyan is one of his options. So yeah, go do that. All right, let's see here. Who are some good buy low candidates? Hugh asked us, good buy low candidates. Let me see. Too bad this isn't a week ago and you can go get Joe Mixon because I think that ship is sailed.
Or Odell.
And Odell as well. I mean, both of those guys were great buy low options. So, this is, I don't think this is probably a great buy low option but you could buy him for low is Kenyon Drake we talked about last show. That depends on your, I'm not going to, maybe endorse that one. I'll say he's a potential player to go after that if you don't want to pay for much and, take that chance. Cause other than that, like you'll say at running back wise, I don't think there's honestly a lot of great buy low options because the guys who you would have to get for nothing, I don't think are good at this point. It was Mixon. You missed the boat on Mixon. I think that's what happened here for a lot of people. And yeah, at running back wise, do you have one? Because I don't, honestly. I don't have one that is to me worthwhile trying to trade for. Because it's like a Kenyon Drake. That's the guy who's the buy low. I don't see it.
I
don't see it.
I mean, it depends on how low you're talking about, right? If you're talking like bottom of the barrel, but Miles Sanders, I don't think he's hit his peak yet. I think that maybe people get a little frustrated with the way things have been going. He's just been mediocre. Maybe him. I mean, I still very much believe in what he's going to turn into. Other than that, it gets real dicey, and you're guessing at who is actually going to produce and who is not. I don't. Other than him, he was the only one that came to mind for me.
Yeah, there's just not much.
As far as running back.
The wide receiver wise, again, it's not like a lot. I would probably still myself try for DJ Moore because I don't think you have to give up a lot for him necessarily, and I still believe in the talent. I know you obviously might not be exactly.
I like his talent.
Yeah.
I don't believe that it's going to translate into fantasy gold this year, but I get where you're coming from. You try to get a very talented individual and hope that he turns it around. Mm-hmm. For me, he's still a giant name, so I still think you probably have to trade a lot for him. But hey, Julio has not been doing well.
No. Oh, speaking of Julio, here's a deal that somebody asked us here. This is an interesting one. Would you trade Miles Sanders for Julio Jones? He says, I'm loaded at running back. Didn't say which, but he says, I'm loaded at running back, but skeptical because of the Falcons' offense and the hamstring injury for Julio. So normally in a situation where you're loaded at running back and you want to trade Sanders for Julio, I would have said, yeah, do that. But I don't think I can do that right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you mean by loaded, I guess. I get too worried that he might come in handy because he's going to be a giant running back is a giant trade chip, right? I bet you can get someone that has been producing.
And think about this. You might think you're loaded at running back today, but what has this season taught us is you might not be loaded at running back tomorrow.
Correct.
And I think you just need, if you have great depth like that, I mean, Julio's a great player, but can he still get it done right now with that hamstring? And just the fact that the Falcons have been interesting, you know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, would I like to take a chance on Julio? Yeah, but I also love Miles Sanders. Mm-hmm. And if it is Julio, you might be able to get a 2-for-1 then.
Yep.
Like, I would push that one because you have all of the bargaining power.
Big Renzo asks, has Mixon turned the corner, or was it just the D he was playing? So he was playing against, Jacksonville?
I mean, that's a good question.
It is a good question, and you know what? It's something that I don't feel like I have the answer to until I see him play in Week 5, I'll be honest. I'd like to think so because I love Joe Mixon's talent, but until he does it 2 weeks in a row, it's hard to trust something.
Yes, and I said this last week as well, but the next 2 weeks, I don't think this is the time to see 2 weeks in a row because he's about to hit a buzzsaw, right? He's about to hit Baltimore and then Indianapolis. Yeah. I do not like either of the matchups for him. I think what that showed is not only is he very capable of having good week and, performing to the level that we thought, but he's able to exceed our expectations. He's able to put on that multiple touchdown show. And the Bengals are better for it, right? They want to keep giving him the ball. They haven't given up on him. So Mixon, yes, I very much like him. And I think this is the perfect example of a place where he's at an all-time high at the moment. And if you like him, if you need another running back, you almost want to wait 2 more weeks where I think he'll have not as good performances. I really don't. And then maybe you can go out and try to trade for him if you're really in a spot where you need a running back. I don't know if the person would be able to give him up at that point, but if that is his only big game, maybe they think they're taking you for a ride.
I mean,
if he has
would
2
you
bad
sell
games.
him high right now? Would you sell him? I don't think I could.
No, because I think he's going to be good down the stretch.
Yeah.
And
I do
that's
too.
That's what I would be looking at right now. I mean, maybe you're in my position where you have to get a few wins under your belt, but if I'm looking at the second half of the season, I'm like, Mixon is a guy that I would want. But I think his first half of the year is going to be rough. We kind of knew that, but after this game, it just kind of solidified the type of talent that he does have.
So Alex asks, would you plug Le'Veon Bell into the lineup this week if he were to play? It says, currently I have Derrick Henry and Devin Singletary as my 1 and 2.
No.
Not with those two.
No.
Because you'd have to.
I would love to at the moment. It depends what your team is looking like.
Oh, if Bell plays, you're gonna love life.
Oh,
you don't have to
so
start.
much better.
You don't have to start Frank Gore anymore.
Yeah. Oh dear God. I need him to come back. I need McCaffrey. I need so many people to come back. But yeah, with those two, I like. First of all, I like those two regardless better than Le'Veon. Right. The Jets are still a bad team. they need Le'Veon to do anything, to do something. But, hey, it's going to be a struggle. So he's going to be up and down. Singletary has shown himself to be a talented running back. I'm waiting for him to have his breakout game. And then, obviously, you're never going to, sit Derrick Henry? Like, who's going to do that?
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
So when the heck do I play you in our league? I'm going to play you when everyone's back, ain't I? This is ridiculous. We don't play till week 9. No, we don't play week 9. What am I talking about? No, when do we play? Week 11. My God, you're going to have a full roster by the time we finally play. All these people get free wins against you, and I got to wait till week 11 when you'll have McCaffrey back and Bell back, and I don't know who else. You have no one else in your team, but you'll have somebody. Hopefully by then you've sold them. That's my hope then.
It might happen.
God.
Man,
I love
I'm just hoping that I have one guy on my bench this week that is not injured.
That would be interesting.
That'd be it. I was half and half last week.
I mean,
that's how bad it was.
This is an awesome lineup you got, Jeff.
Dude, it's bad.
So you got Lamar at quarterback. That's great. You got Bell if he plays. He'll be your running back with Damian Harris. And Frank Gore is your flex. You got Chase Claypool, KJ Hamler, Scotty Miller.
Dude, that's the crazy part. I had to pick up KJ Hamler and Scotty Miller.
Jeff, this isn't a 20-team league. What's going on?
Dude, believe me, you saw it happen to me. It was the most ridiculous thing. I mean, it was like week 1. It was like, not week 1, but McCaffrey goes down, Le'Veon goes down, Sutton goes down, Alan Lazard goes down, even though that, he would be, actually, I would love to have Alan Lazard right now. That's how crazy of injuries I had. So we just have to wait it out, but that's what I got to do. And if I would have gotten one more win, you don't want to hear me bitch about this, but I was so close to getting like a cheap win. I don't even care how you do it. I just wanted to stay in it. I just got to get my guys healthy, but
it's a good team.
I know I'm not the only one to feel this pain. McCaffrey owners especially, like, my God.
But you sold everything off to win a title last year.
Yeah, I mean, I was starting under the gun too. That's the real problem.
Beautiful trophy.
Yeah, I mean, I got it. I won it. Now I got to figure out how to. I don't know. The problem is on our side, as we split into 2 divisions. There's some real competitors, man. There's some real good teams. But I'm wondering, because how many times have you kind of just waited in the wings, stumble around to about 500, and then the last, right before the trade deadline, you actually ante up, buy back in, and make a run to the playoffs. It's happened many, many times for you.
It is.
So you're never out of it, and that's what I believe. You just wait around, you try to find. That's why I pick up Damian Harris early, right? Before anyone can get their paws on him. He looked pretty good. I mean, you texted me too during the game, during New England, being like, okay, well, maybe you have a player.
Yep.
If I can add him, Le'Veon comes back, McCaffrey comes back. All of a sudden, I'm rocking with a decent squad, and I'm looking for either a trade or another wide receiver to pick up off the waivers. It's possible.
I hope Damian Harris is a thing. He looked decent.
Yeah.
He looked.
I don't trust any New England running back at the moment still, but
it was interesting to see.
Yeah.
And then all right, we'll end this thing. I got one more question. Milo Shepard asked, just got offered Melvin Gordon, and you'd have to give up Kenyon Drake. Are you doing that right now?
Yeah. Yeah. I wouldn't be able to hit that trade button quick enough.
I think I'm on that same page there. So, all right. That will do it for the mailbag. Thanks for all of your questions. Once again, we'll do this, every single Thursday. So get your questions into us. Instagram, on youtube.com/fantasyfootballprofit. Go there, and we can definitely try to answer as many, because I don't think you didn't have anything from YouTube, right? I'm not missing anybody.
No, we don't have any at the moment.
All right, so we'll be back to talk about Thursday Night Football, Bucks, Bears. So we'll see how that turns out. I don't love the Bears. Just don't excite me to watch right now. I don't care about Nick Foles and David Montgomery.
Who do you think is going to win that game?
I think the Bucks are going to take that thing.
I do too.
2 3-1 teams somehow. Bears are terrible.
They are. They're one of the worst 3-1 teams I've ever seen.
All right, that'll do it for today. Talk to you guys next time.